Okay, testing microphone. Right, so hello everyone, welcome to yet another tutorial on how to develop applications on the internet computer. And today, basically, we're going to look at, we're going to continue from where we left behind. And in today's session, we're basically talking about how to use the token ledger and the index ledger in our backend Motoko file. So right here, I'm recording and so without wasting time, let me open up my code editor, and that's VS Code. I already have my project set up from the previous day, and as you can see, currently our main.mo file that like has a dummy data, but we in the previous video we stopped at configuring the dfx.json file where we included the ledger canister and also the index canister. And in this session, we're picking up from that step. And so to use these two canisters in our backend file, first of all, we have to add one configuration in here in the dfx.json file to tell the backend canister or the main.mo file that we'll be using these two canisters inside that file. And the way we do that is actually just come here on the backend canister definition, and then we will add a new dependencies, and then inside the brackets, that's where you actually put these canisters that you want to act as dependencies. So I just paste this, open up another, and then paste this. And so that's how basically we do the configuration. If you want to use these canisters in the backend code, you just have to include them as dependencies in the backend canister configuration. So right now we are ready to move on and start using these canisters in our backend. And so I will just go to my main.mo file. This is where all the code will be written from, and I can just maybe delete everything, write a new actor session, and I just put curly brackets, and all our code will move in here inside these curly brackets. So the first thing that we have to do is actually import the two canisters that we defined here. And the way we import canisters is actually very simple. You just write the word import and put the name of the canister, ICRC ledger. Then you just write, I think MO, rather canister, then the name of the canister. So I'll just come here and copy it and include it here. So put a semicolon. I do the same for the ICRC index, then canister, colon, and I'll just copy this and paste it here. So that's how you actually import the canisters in your backend.mo, rather the backend file, and now we can start using them. And so how I'm looking at how we can use the first canister, the ICRC ledger. And so if I do dfx deploy session project 1 backend, okay, right, so I miss to this, and I want to get the URLs of all the canisters, and then I will open them. Okay, so I wanted actually these URLs for the ledger canister, so I'll just open it in the browser, and then we can look at its interface. So it's taking some time to load. Okay, so here is the interface for the backend, or rather for the ledger token ledger canister, and we can actually call some of these functions from our backend canister. And the first one, actually, we will call this the ICRC1 name. And the way we do that is we shall actually write a new function. Let's say all the get, or we can just put get the name of the token from the backend canister. So we just do public func get token name from backend. Doesn't take in any argument, it is an asynchronous, and then to return text. And then inside here, what we can actually do is actually write a variable results equals, now it's where we call our canister, and then we call one of the methods, which is the ICRC1 name, and then we return the results. The error should now go away. So alright, so they're saying this has to be an await since it is asynchronous, and now the error is off. So if we deploy again the backend canister, you will see that everything should compile well and deploy. Okay, yes, so mod equals reinstall -y, and hopefully there is no error. Alright, so actually I click on this backend canister and wait for it. If I refresh, it should actually maybe work. Alright, so now we have the only function that we have defined so far in our backend canister, and that is get token name from backend. So if I click and call, it should actually return the token name. So we have two canisters. This is the backend canister, and this is the token ledger canister. From here, we are calling the token canister directly from the browser, but in this case, we are calling the token canister from the backend canister. But as you can see, all the results are the same. So we can also try it out with the ICRC1 symbol, and if all is well, it should return TT from the back end. So I'll just come here with a semicolon, get with a simple comment, get the symbol from the back end, and public func get symbol from back end. Doesn't take in any arguments, it is an asynchronous and returns text. So we can just write the same equals await ICRC ledger dot get symbol, and then we return the results. So if we just redeploy the canister, we should get now two functions available from our back end canister. Right, I don't know why it keeps misbehaving. Right, why? Anyways, let me load it from this press. Hopefully it can work. Okay. Anyway, so now we have our backend canister now. The backend canister now has two functions, and as you can see, it has added on a new function called the get symbol from backend, which is actually, if we call it, it should return double T. which is the same result when we call the ledger canister directory. All right, so that is so far working. And so how about we try out some how we can actually transfer some tokens by calling the ICRC1 functionality from the backend. And so right now our backend has some simple tokens, rather a few amount of tokens. So if I come here and check its balance, it has some tokens already. I was testing it out with, so right now it has 98k tokens. So we can actually transfer some of these tokens from the backend canister to any recipient, and the way we do that is actually pretty simple and straightforward. And so we can transfer tokens from the backend to the user. So the way we do that is actually we will write a function for it. Transfer tokens from backend. So we want the user to be of type principal, and then the amount of type nut. It's an asynchronous, so it should return text. And then in here actually we can do the same. Let transfer results equal to await ICRC ledger dot ICRC1 transfer. So it takes in an object, and if I can show you what that object contains is let's go here, and then all you have to do is actually click on DFX, then local, then canisters, then we look for the ICRC ledger canister, which is here. We check its did file. So I will just open it in another column. So just put this here for the sake of Okay, so if we check the ICRC transfer, we will see that actually here it takes in an argument of this type, and if we check this type, it has a couple of parameters that it accepts. So the from account, which is optional, the to, which is of type account here, the amount, the fee, the memo, and the created at time. All these are optional. So we'll focus on these two, the token and the amount, rather the amount and the two. And so what we can do is actually write that equals to amount. So account actually owner equals user, and then sub account we just put none since it is optional. So okay, so now the amount will be equal to the amount, and then the fee, all these optionals we just put them as none. Created at time is equal to none, then memo is also equal to none, and from sub account is equal to none. Hopefully this is all that we need to specify. All right, so let me check if I'm making an error. From sub account is there, the two is there, the amount is there, the fee is there, created at time, and the memo. So that is it that the object takes in. And if we go back down here, you will see that actually it returns something of this type. So so it returns a a result which has two options. So the first one is an okay, the other one is an error. These are called variants in Motoko, so it can be either an okay or an error. And so we have to check whether our transfer results here conforms to this. And the way we do that is actually, using the switch statement, and we just pass in the transfer results as our input, and then we check whether it's an okay. If then we just if it's an okay and has a value, then we'll just return transfer successful. And if it's an error of error, we can just actually return transfer has failed. So there shouldn't be any errors, and that's why there is an error, but we can actually figure that out. Okay, so if we're going to put here the word function or func, and I think I need to also close this, and the error goes away. So if we just redeploy again, we should have now we should have actually 3 functions in our backend. And so we have a new function, transfer tokens from backend, and remember our backend had some tokens, 98,000. And so I'll just choose a random principal address that I will use for this purpose. So I'll just copy this, or I can even switch. I can switch to account 1, copy this. I'll just paste it here. Then maybe you want to transfer 2,500 tokens. If we call it, we should it says transfer successful, and the way we can actually confirm if the transfer is successful is by checking again the balance of the backend canister, and it should have reduced by some amount. And if I click that, you'll see that actually it has reduced. And if I come back here, copy this address which had 0 balance and paste it here, you'll see that it has a new balance of 2,500, which is the same amount that we sent from the back end. And so as you can see, it's pretty simple on how you can use the backend canister to call the token ledger canister. And usually, like, the process is straightforward. You just need to understand how the interface works, and then you're good to go. So what else can we do? What else can we do with the token ledger canister? Let me see, maybe total supply right now. Okay, so total supply, we can actually, I think we have exhausted most of the functions. And in the functions, we wanted to do one query, like we did 2 query functions and also 1 update function. And I think that's all that actually you need to do in order to use the backend canister to call the token ledger canister. And so you can also try out this, the approve, the transfer from, and also the allowance. You can also do that in your free time. And so the next thing that I want to actually do is actually also call some functions on the index ledger canister. And if I open it, you will see that let's see, okay, this is its interface. What we can do, we can actually get the ledger ID of this, which if I click on it, it shows me the account ID for the token ledger canister. So going here, we'll just say get the ledger ID from the index canister. So we just write public func get ledger ID from backend. So it takes in no argument, it's an asynchronous, then it returns text. So let results equals await, then ICRC now index dot that, and then we return the results. Alright, so here it's complaining. I'm not sure why it is doing so. Okay, so what I can do is actually I'm encroaching its space, so I'll just put a semicolon. And alright, why is it principal? Alright, so it returns a principal, but we want to, for us, we are trying to return the text. So what we can do is actually convert this to text, and how we do that is actually using principal from actually to text, and then the error should go away. Alright, so I will redeploy my canister, and hopefully everything is still recording. It has a tendency of getting off somewhere in the middle, and right, we give it a few seconds, and yeah, it should be done with deploying. Alright, so going back to our backend canister, we should have a new function. Where is it? It's this actually. So I refresh, again refresh, then actually so get ledger ID from backend. If I click on it, it should actually give me the ledger ID of the token canister, which is cool. So we can also try out one last function whereby we can use actually the ICRC1 balance of the index canister. So, and that's pretty simple. Okay, so all you have to do is actually come here. We will write another function, some comments first, get balance using the index canister. So under the hood, the index canister will call the token ledger canister for the balance, and then to return the balance. So func public, by the way, public means the function can be accessed from outside, but if you put private, it will only be accessed from inside this canister or the code. So public func get balance from index. Okay, not sure, index. Then we can just pass in the user, which will be of type principal, and then it will return nuts. I think that is it. So inside here, all we have to do, let results equals await ICRC index dot ICRC balance of, and it takes in an object, and the way that object looks like is actually we can get it from its did file index canister. We just scroll down, then ICRC balance. Okay, the account, it takes in an account and returns a type of token. So let me first check the type tokens. Tokens is of type nut, which is okay. Then account, of course, account should be of type this one, owner, and then sub account. So I will just put owner equals user, and then sub account, since it is optional, just put null. Null. Okay, so and then we are good to go. The error should move away, and I will format the code. And okay, so alright, so if I again redeploy, we give it a few seconds for it to complete, and we should be able to supply a principal, and then we get the balance. So I come here and refresh this and get balance from index. So I'll just come again to this. We already sent some tokens to this principal address. I'll paste it here, click call, and it shows the balance actually. We can also check actually the balance of the backend canister itself. And maybe, let me see. Okay, so just that invalid. Maybe I can copy it afresh and paste it there. And yeah, sure. So it shows balance, the balance of this principal address, but it is using, it's fetching actually the balance from the I0C index canister. And so that's how actually you can, use the index canister and also the token canister in your backend code. And it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. It's like straightforward actually to use. And so what else can we do? I think that is all that we can do with that's all we can do with the back with actually interacting with the token ledger canister and also the backend canister. And yeah, so this session is actually was short, and in the next session I think it will be a bit longer than this and the previous ones, and the reason is we are going to build a full application from scratch, and yeah, build also the front end, so as you can see how actually you build stuff on the internet computer. And so that is it for this session, and let's meet in the next session.